Is the dog training industry full of shitty people? This is something that I've heard recently quite a lot. I've heard it for a long time actually, but I've recently heard it almost repeatedly. The past couple of weeks, I've had really nice people get discouraged about the industry, whether they're people that have talked to me directly, whether it's posts that I've seen, people that have made comments. I just have been very highly aware of it recently, where I feel like it's a prompt for me to talk a little bit on the topic. I myself have felt this way before. I felt at some point that, man, like this place is full of just awful people. Right? We've all experienced that at some point. If you are a dog trainer, a dog sport competitor, or you're an enthusiast, you're thinking about, dipping your toes, you probably have experiences at some point, or at the very least, you've heard about this, right? People will say things like, oh, the dog world. And unfortunately, here's the thing, there are toxic people everywhere. There are really shitty people everywhere you're gonna go in every single industry. But here's what I tell people. Here's what I told this guy that I had the latest conversation with. And some of the stuff he told me was very valid, right? When he's telling me he is being mistreated by people who don't even know him. There were rumors spread about him. And then it got to a person, then eventually got back to him. And by the time he received the awful treatment, it was about something that was not even true. Now, these are all things I can relate to because I've had these things happen to me as well. And it's very discouraging to go from, hey, I'm just here to help out or do whatever I need to do my own thing. And then like weeks, months down the road, you hear somebody who's never even met you say really awful things about you and just have this image of you that is so far from true because of mischaracterizations, because of misinterpretations, or because of blatant lies, right? Whatever the motive for that to go around, circle to a person who doesn't even know you, and then for them to now either treat you badly or for them to now spread these things about you. So it's very easy to go, man, fuck people. Like, why are people so awful in this industry? And I did get to a point where I was thinking, man, people suck. Like, why are people like that? People just absolutely suck in this industry. But what I've learned is this. There are a lot more good people in the industry. And I firmly believe in the world, there are a lot more good people out there than there are shitty people. But it just so happens that the shitty people are very loud. They make themselves known. You hear about them, you hear of them, you hear from them. And so what happens is it's easy to go, man, like all that noise is coming from there, right? It's easy to go, all that noise is coming from there, that must be the entire industry. But it's not. The fact of the matter is there are people way over here who are actually very nice. And there are actually a lot of people here who are neither. They're not really the super nicest, but they're not really shitty. So even those people, you could say, are good because by the very fact that they're just minding their own business, they're automatically good, right? But it just so happens that sometimes you're gonna run into these people, you're gonna have these people in your circle sometimes, and the people in your circle, you assume they're all good, but a lot of times they're not. A lot of times the people in your circle, right, because the dog training world is very small. So some of these people that get into your circle are some of those shitty people. And you just don't know about them because they're not revealing themselves. But the good thing about them is they always reveal themselves. Always, no matter what. It might take a couple of weeks, it might take a month, it might take a few years, but at some point they're gonna tell you, right? They're gonna tell you, hey, I'm a shitty person because look what I did. That's the moment that they're basically letting you know we should probably, part ways, right? And that comes in the form of they do or say something unforgivable where you go, we have to cut ties, or they distance themselves, or you have to now distance yourself, or it's a combination of any of those things. But again, the good thing is at some point they're always going to tell you. Right? When a snake tells you it's a snake, you take their word for it and you move on. But what I wanted to tell you is, I wanted to remind you, it's not that bad. There are so many good people out there that if you just say fuck the entire industry, you're slapping the good people in the face. Okay, there truly are good people out there. If you just go into it thinking, man, like, I don't even want to be friends with anybody. I don't even want to trust any of these people. I don't even want to invest in these people because what they're going to do is they're just going to eventually backstab me. If you're constantly thinking that, that's exactly where you're going to attract. Okay, you just have to go with the flow, right? I've been on the receiving end of this. Now, some of you might be, if you even watch any of my stuff, there might be people out there that go, no, fuck you, Will. You are one of those shitty people, right? I don't know why people sometimes feel that way about a person without ever knowing them, without ever having spoken to them, shaken their hand or anything, but there are people that do that. Now, these people obviously don't have to be that important to you. They truly don't. If you focus on, I need to be careful, right? I need to be cautious. I need to not trust anybody, right? This person might have an agenda. You're just walking on eggshells the entire time and not opening yourself for potentially good people coming into your life, because you're always going to look at everybody as that might be a bad person, when in fact they might not. And look, even if a person has done something bad or has at some point, maybe in the past when they were immature, said or did something awful, people do change. So just because you see a person and you go, you know, somebody told you, hey, be careful with that person because they did this, this, and this, and they said this, this, and that. Look, you don't have to be their best friend. You just have to go, okay, it's not a big deal, but what is this person giving me right now? Is this person giving me the best version of themselves? Then I'm gonna take that. I'm not gonna receive the best version of that person and then go, but they're a bad person. You don't have to be their best friends. You don't have to hang out with them constantly. You don't have to bring them to your home. You can just accept people for who they are and for what they give you. So even the shittiest people, they're not shitty 24/7, right? At some point, you're gonna run into some of these people. They are gonna very likely do something that will benefit you in some way. You just take it as it comes, and then you just move on, right? But when you do make these connections, when you do let people into your circle, when you do go, wow, you know, this person is amazing, don't worry about, well, what if they turn out to be shitty? Don't think about that, because they might actually turn out to be amazing people. Or they might turn out to be some of these people and go, hey, you know what? Our friendship or relationship was not a cool relationship. It was not a cool friendship, that it was mutual. It wasn't. It was just transactional. And what transactional means is they use you until they feel that they can no longer get any use out of you, and then they just turn their backs on you. That's fine. Take it as it comes. So what? Who cares? Why do you dwell on it? Why does it matter that they did that? It doesn't matter. Just let them go, right? Open up the door for somebody else to take that place, for somebody else that is going to be good to you. It doesn't matter. But what I wanted to tell you, especially to the last person I spoke to, I don't know if you're going to watch this video or not, but the last person that I actually spoke to, some of the stuff that he was telling me were just awful. And I know this person. He's a good person. Some of the stuff he was accused of and some of the treatment that he got was completely unwarranted. Not like he deserved it, entirely unwarranted. So when he was so discouraged about this, I told him this. I told him, look, there are more good people out there than there are bad people. It's just that the bad people are loud. Okay, I just want you to remember that and just be open to receiving good experiences because they are out there. Be open to good people because they are out there.